time. It's our time. It's our time.
Hey there, I'm Shub from North of Normal. Welcome and thanks for joining us. One song, one story is about the power of music and what it brings to our lives. The concept is simple. Each guest brings a song, and together we explore what it means to them, the memories it holds, the feelings it unlocks, the story it tells about who they are. Because music isn't just something we listen to, it's how we remember, how we connect, and how we make sense of our lives. Today, I'm joined by Simon Gregory. He's brought a cult classic with him, so I'm excited to see where this conversation goes. So let's settle in, press play, and dive into the music that moves us. Enjoy. So today I'm joined by a very dear friend for many, many years, someone I've literally spent thousands of hours sat around a Bluetooth speaker listening to music with, and someone I'm super excited to have this conversation with. Welcome to the One Song, One Story podcast, Simon Gregory. How are you, sir?
Thank you very much, mate. Yeah, more well, thank you. I think we've got at least thousands, if not tens of thousands of logged hours. So I'm pretty sure all these conversations we will have had at some point, but we just need to make sure we remember them.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're pleased to play the best game ever, which is One Song Pass. It's the most genius game ever invented. I'm assuming everyone plays that, but like it's the greatest game.
The problem is the older you get when you have to start playing that with your partner because they're the only person left, you don't tend to get a fair number of goals. It turns into 2-1, 3-1. Like it's just the ratios don't work.
Yeah, no, that's true. It is best with more people, I think. Question: if your day to day was a song, what would the title of that song be, and what would be the vibe?
I think the vibe would be definitely pretty chill. It would be pretty on the level. It would be, I've got that kind of a Beach Boys type of vibe in my head. So I think it'd be
nice.
It'd be something along those lines, but it'd be so what we're thinking title wise. Something. I mean, it's every song name's already taken, but take it easy.
Take it easy with a Beach Boys vibe.
That's what I'm going
I can
with,
see that. Strolling round town.
Unless it's my Christmas tune, and I just get the bum 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 bum.
That is your tune.
I'll save that for Christmas.
Yeah, no, not quite there yet. Still only October. And one thing I like to do with my guests is start with a song that connects us. So I can ask you after I'm done if there is one. You may not have one, or it may come to you as we're speaking. But the song that connects us or the song that I often think about you when I listen to is Oxygen by Willie Mason. Because I remember
seeing whether you were going with the same one.
Yeah, I remember being round your flat and we were playing the game. We were each putting on a tune, and you put on that tune and it like floored me. And I'm pretty sure I thanked you profusely at the time, and then many times since thanked you again for introducing me in that song. And it's always a song, if I ever listen to it, it's always a song that takes me back to that moment. It's just a genius song. But yeah, is there a song that when you see me, you think of, or when you hear, you think of me?
I think before you'd even started, that's where I thought you were going. I think that would definitely be, that's the one. I can remember for at least probably a month after I first played that was like, at least one of us was going to put it on in One Song Pass within the first 5 or 10 songs that were actually played. So I would, that's the first one. That's where I would definitely go. And I think anything kind of Bruce Springsteen.
The Boss.
I think there's definitely, again, I remember a lot of times The Boss being put on, and probably after a few drinks having some very friendly renditions. A nice drunken hug and a sing of The Boss, I reckon, was definitely had a few times.
A bit of Dancing in the Dark.
Yeah. So yeah, a bit of Boss, mate, beautiful. I think. But you're right, Willie Mason, Oxygen is number one.
Great tune. I guess since from the time I've met you, music, it was always clear music was like huge to you. It's been a big part of our relationship. Like the music you were listening to, gigs you were going to, that was like something you always seemed really passionate about. Like, do you remember when that started? Do you have memories? Do you have like early memories of really feeling music, or do you have early memories of like, you know, being passionate about it? Or when did that all start?
I think a lot of this stuff always comes from your parents, doesn't it? So you get your first kind of musical education or some of your tastes through whatever the parents are listening to. And I think I like to class myself as being quite lucky in a lot of respects, because I think my mum and dad had pretty good tastes in music.
What were they into?
So they're like 60s. So it's all stuff like Kinks, Hollies, Beatles, The Who, Queen, like any of that kind of stuff. So there's some great music in there. And I'm sure we can get into more of that. But I think what me and my brother have talked about this a few times, and the thing we both remember the most is every year, and this is probably the first kind of clear memories of music that I've got, is every year on our summer vacation, we drive all the way down to the south of France somewhere. So you're probably talking like at least 10 hours in a car. And there was a fairly eclectic set of songs that get put on. It would either be
brilliant.
So my dad had a cassette that he'd recorded for some of his own, parties, or when they'd have friends round, stuff like that. And it was called, I remember it, I've still got it somewhere. It's a little cassette, and he'd put those little stickers you used to get on so you could write what was on the cassette. And it was called Dance Fast.
Simple but effective title.
Simple but effective, exactly. And I can probably get the full playlist at some point, but there was stuff like, there was Tina Turner on there. There was The Who. Again, I'm sure there was a bit of like The Boss and Kinks, all that. Definitely some Beach Boys on there. There's a good mix on that one. Yeah. So that used to get played again and again. But then to take it right across to the other side, musicals. So soundtracks to musicals. Wow. Because my mum and dad have always been big into the musicals, and that's kind of rubbed off a little bit as well. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure I can recite the full Les Miserables soundtrack end to end. I remember me and my brother like belting it out in the back, deciding who was going to be Jean Valjean on some of these songs.
Nice.
So yeah, I think they're the memories.
A good musical education. Everything from 60s to musicals. And then growing up, because I think when I met you, I thought like you were an indie kid, you like indie bands and stuff like that. So I'm curious to know, like, you know, how your tastes evolved, and we can get on to kind of the stuff you're listening to now. But yeah, where did all that come from?
I think everybody gets a bit more eclectic the older they get, don't they? But I think just the first album I ever remember getting, and I think this was a bit of a fad phase in primary school. So this is back like, you know, before I went to secondary school. My birthday one year, because I think I'd heard it on the radio, I asked for a cassette by an album by Billy Ray Cyrus.
Wow.
So do you remember that? Don't tell my heart, my achy heart. But then the indie stuff, I think when I got to secondary school, a lot of my mates and the people I was hanging out with, we were proper indie. Big, long, green kind of trench coat, Oasis, messy hairstyles, Wallabies, flared jeans. So yeah, all that just meant for the vast majority of secondary school, it was all about the indie bands. It was, Oasis, Birds, all that kind of stuff.
I think I remember that was kind of really cool for me, I think, because I was, you know, when you're growing up, you not only have the stuff you like, but you have the stuff that you like. You know, I'm into this kind of music. I don't like indie music and stuff like that. But there's all these all these amazing tunes I'd heard over the years, but didn't really acknowledge. But I think when I started hanging out with you guys, and there was actually loads of indie music you were playing. I'm like, no one like this stuff. It's really cool. I think I told myself I didn't like this. And it was nice to kind of like reconnect with old stuff that I'd probably heard but never really acknowledged, listen to some new stuff that I never would have listened to. And I think that's the interesting thing when you just, you know, the more you hang out with people with different musical tastes, there's going to be gems that come up that just kind of open your mind and open your perception of actually what sort of music you're into, and broadens your kind of.
Well, the other thing you can't do or can't not do if you live in Manchester is, number one, like the Stone Roses. So I think that was probably a decent. I remember that being a bit of a gateway into other stuff, going like, okay, yeah, I can take the Stone Roses, they're all right. And
Yeah, absolutely.
Oasis, Charlatans, some of that type of stuff.
And you mentioned your music taste, probably like all of us, has become more eclectic over time. Like how far have you gone?
I mean, how far? I'll tell you how far I've gone. This week, in fact, I've got a classical music playlist, which I've started listening to. So just for kind of, you know, chilling out, if I'm got some work I want to get my head into, or if I'm just like, okay, I just want a bit of a chill for a little while. I don't think I've ever listened to classical music before, but the classical stuff that's kind of the most new thing. Country music in general for the past.
It's got you.
I think I've had it drilled into me, but I will give her some credit. There are some good tunes out there. But I've had 10 years of, the only radio station we're allowed to play in the flat anymore is Country Line Radio. So that's it. And we've been to the extent of specifically booking a trip to America to go over and see Chris Stapleton play.
Wow, yeah, that is commitment.
So I think he's Kelly's favorite. He's definitely my favorite country artist as well. But so you've got like classical, you've got the country stuff come in. I think the other one is just generally enjoying pop music more.
100%.
And I don't think that's necessarily new. It's just when you're younger, it's not, you don't, if you're an indie boy, you're not allowed to say that you like Britney Spears or Five or whatever else it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, I've kind of started listening since I've started writing a lot of songs, and I'm kind of aiming at writing songs for other artists or TV and film. I think a few months back, I just thought I need to like dive into what is actually happening right now. Yeah. And I just put on some Apple playlists of pop music, and I was like, fuck, man, I think I really judged this like quite hard. But I was listening to like Taylor Swift and Sabrina Carpenter. I was like, this is some really, like, they're great songs and like great vocals, amazing lyrics. And then I just kept listening, just kept diving deeper and deeper. And it's like, I think in my mind, I thought pop was this one sound, but it's just the same as it always was. Like, there's so many different artists doing different things. It's just what seems to be striking a chord with people this year, same as it was 10 years, 20 years ago, where there's some great music being made, but it's nice. It feels like reconnecting. Yeah. You know, instead of listening to the same Stevie Wonder albums from the 70s, I'm like, I'm actually listening to modern music. It's incredible. And you kind of learn a lot from it as well. Like the way music's evolved. It's just kind of really fascinating to listen to. And I kind of, for various reasons, whether it's like having kids and less time or making music and stuff like that, I probably don't listen to as much music as I used to. And I'm kind of curious to know how that's changed for you, because I remember you always headphones in, always music wherever you go, like music at work. Do you still have that sort of same relationship with music where you walks, trains, working, you kind of always listening to something?
Yeah, I can't imagine there will have been a day in the last, well, maybe even since I was like post 16 years old, I would be very surprised if there's a day when I haven't listened to music at least once.
Wow.
just whether it's like the alarm, setting some type of music for the alarm in the morning. It used to be a part of my commute to and back from school. It's always been a part of my commute to and back from work, whether that's, like originally getting back to proper Walkmans, cassette tapes, then thinking Discmans were like the coolest thing in the world for getting the CDs out, MP3 players, original iPods. But yeah, I still listen to music all the time. I was thinking about this before coming on it. I think it's one of those things that is like can be like the biggest constant in your life.
Yeah.
And I think it definitely has been for me. As I said, especially now, I'm probably on a train or walking or whatever for a good few hours every day. And it seems very strange to do that without my earphones in. So there's always some tunes going on.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I kind of miss that. I think that for me, at the moment, there's a time when I really enjoy it, but I kind of, I think sometimes I just need a bit of peace and like no stimulus, but at the right time, like to walk around and just see the world with music in your ears, or be on a train with music in your ears, like listening to your favorite tunes in different scenarios feels, I think, I probably do need to do that. I'd like to start doing that.
I think you do, mate. Especially if you've got, you'll want your peace and quiet though, won't you? So when you've got a moment where it is quiet, you'd be like, okay, yeah, I'll take the silence for a little while.
Yeah, but it's strange, isn't it? Because sometimes I do just need absolute silence, but sometimes listening to the right music at the right time can actually take you away, can actually relax you. It's like choosing the right songs in the right moment, all that sort of thing. I think that half the problem is that sometimes I just don't know what to choose. Whereas, other times in my life, I'm like, I want to listen to this. I've got this playlist here. At the moment, I'm like, I just don't know what I want to listen to.
But that's what's cool, isn't it? Because sometimes I think one of the great things about where like streaming services and stuff have got to now, and like AI and all that type of thing that's coming in, is fair play. They do a lot of the time introduce you into new things, or even old things that you missed first time round that you like.
Yeah.
You if I go on and I hit play on my some of my playlists, and you get to the end of it or whatever, or it skips past last song, I always find it really interesting, some of the new stuff that comes on. Just being introduced to new stuff that the computer's gone, oh, if you liked all that, you should definitely like this.
Yeah.
And sometimes it gets it wrong. But
Sometimes
most of the time
it gets it wrong.
Right.
And sometimes it throws up an absolute gem, and you're like, oh, I'm so glad I stuck around for that one.
Sometimes I'm running around to go, I need to get to the phone to make sure I add that to my like list before it disappears.
Yeah, absolutely. So just a quick note for anyone listening for the first time. This isn't a podcast about breaking down music theory or production tricks. It's really about the personal connection we all have with music, and the way one song can hold an entire story for us. So if you haven't heard the track we're about to talk about, feel free to hit pause, go give it a listen, and then come back. And I promise the conversation will land even deeper once the song's in your ears. So, Simon Gregory, what is the song that you've brought today?
So there was a few on the list, and maybe we'll get into some of the close run ones at some point. But the song I have gone for is by a band called Starship, and it's called Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now. Which, going back to
classic
pop music, is an absolute banger.
Yeah, it's a bit of a timeless classic, that one. Timeless classic. So what was the process? Like you mentioned, there was a few other ones. Was it an easy pick, this one, or were you wrestling with a few other ones?
I think I said this to you. So when you asked me if I'd be interested in coming on, which I definitely was going to do, because I love having a chat about music, and obviously just having a chat with you as well, mate. That was the first one that came to mind pretty much instantly. But going back to that feeling of, is like, cheesy pop music cool enough to talk about. I was like, okay, let's have a think. Maybe I can find a Lennon song or something like that that's gonna hit a bit better with everybody and make them think I'm cool. But it's just so. I mean, I've been in a relationship for 20 years now with Kelly, my partner. Thank you. And I think a lot of that is you get songs with each other, don't you, and things like that. But I think the number one, it's a great tune, so it's put together well, and it's just great. It gets you almost immediately with the kind of the beat of it and the feeling. And the whole premise of it is basically, right, me and you together, nothing is going to stop us from achieving things or from being happy as long as we've got each other. And I think that the mindset of that, whether it's a relationship or overcoming challenges or stuff like that, I think it's one of those songs that certainly gives me an emotional kick in terms of like happiness and stuff, of being like, okay, great. I'm on board with this. But also sometimes just to kind of G me up and be like, no, it doesn't matter. Forget all the hurdles and things or whatever comes in front of us. We can overcome it all.
100%. And I don't think, honestly, I challenge anyone not to connect with that song. Like the anthem, the music, the lyrics, everything's like geared towards just getting you fired up inside. It's such a beauty. And what I'd love to do, I don't know if you can place this or remember it. I kind of want to set the scene on and figure out if you even remember like when you first. So this was in '89, released in '89. How old were you? I was like 10 in 1989. How old were you in 1989?
I'm much younger than you, mate. So I would have been 6 years old then.
6 years old. Do you think this would have made the playlists, the Dance Fast playlists on the way to France?
Do you know what? It's an interesting one because I've got a feeling it would have been played in the house when I was younger. And I need to find out from my dad whether or not it's on the Dance Fast one. But I think the first time I remember kind of hearing it, it's been on a lot of movie soundtracks and things like that. But there was
it was on Mannequin.
Oh, was it? So there's a period of time when I think it was just being like, it was on the radio a fair bit, and I kept coming across it and thinking, yeah, that's a catchy tune, I like that. But I think the time when when it got to a stage where it's like, okay, yeah, that's my tune, was actually starting to listen to the lyrics and understanding what the song was about. And then it went from being like, oh yeah, I like this bit on the background and being like a bit of a catchy tune, to, oh my God, this is just laying out exactly how I feel about things.
Yeah. And so on that point, so another song that links this that I was going to mention was the Hollies, The Air That I Breathe.
Yes.
But I'm always curious as to know how people hear music and how people listen to it. Because the reason I bring up that song is because I never take in the lyrics. I remember singing away to it and being like, man, how can you not? You sung this so many times. How can you not know the lyrics? But do you listen to the lyrics when you listen to new music? Do you listen to the sound? Is it just a general energy? Kind of how do you consume it, and how does it kind of hit you?
I think I do like to know the lyrics. I think that kind of helps get an understanding for what the song's about, which I think makes you resonate with it a bit more. So I'd say,
yeah.
I'd say generally I would like to know the lyrics and get to know the lyrics a little better with stuff. But at the same time, sometimes it's just a tune. Like the lyrics are great, I'll get involved with the lyrics, but it's the melody, how it's put together, that just kind of catches you first, and then you'd be like, oh, I'll have a look at the lyrics, but I'm already hooked on this song. There's a song by the 1975 who are they're a band that I've really got into in the last 5-10 years or something like that. So they're bang up there now in terms of kind of favorite bands and things like that. But there's a song that they've got called Somebody Else, and it's effectively, looking at the lyrics and things like that, when you get into it, it's basically about cheating on somebody and then being jealous of their partner when they've moved on. And for me, it's just the song, before I got to the lyrics, was beautiful and uplifting and great. And I used to play it all the time. And I said to Kel, "Oh, this actually makes me think about, this song makes me think about you." And then she found out.
I'd love it if she's like, "Why?"
Well, I think it's just that general, like, the uplifting part of it. But then I remember when she found out and started looking at it, she was like, do you know what the lyrics are about in this? She's like, "Have you listened to the lyrics?" And I was like, "Yeah, I get it now, but I'm just telling you, that's the feeling I associate to it."
So
yeah,
I'm a bit. I mean, I can sing along, just making sounds to the music and stuff like that. Never even curious about what they're singing about, but I'm the same. And Rach, my partner Rach, there was a moment where she told me what the words were to, I'm not going to remember the band. It's a song called Wires. We got wires. And not only the words, but the backstory. Like, this kid, this guy's son was on life support, and suddenly the whole song just explodes to like, wow, I fucking get what he was singing about right now. And it took like what I thought was a good tune into suddenly like just an incredibly powerful tune. It just opened up these layers of depth to it when I actually bothered to figure out what he was saying, but never usually curious about that. And what do you kind of think? Do you remember what hit you first about Nothing's Going to Stop Us Now? Was it just a general feeling of like, this is an awesome tune, or did you kind of take in the lyrics when you were first listening to it?
I think I did, because it's, some songs you have to like properly listen or even Google the lyrics to work out what anybody's saying, because it's just really difficult to get it. I think this one's one of those songs that's pretty straightforward. If you pay attention to it, or if you listen to it and stick it in your headphones, you pick up the lyrics pretty quickly. But I'm guessing, because I can't necessarily fully remember, but I think that kind of just the beat that's behind it and the sort of melody that kind of kicks into it would have been the first thing that would have been like, "Oh, I like the sound of that." And then after that, thinking, "Oh yeah, Nothing's Going to Stop Us. I like the kind of positive view on it." And then when you get into it and you work out, it's pretty much a love song, but it's got a good rhythm and beat to it and all that kind of stuff. That would be where I properly picked it up.
See, I think I'm the same with that song, where I remember being, I remember the exact place. I don't know how old I was, but I was at a friend's birthday party. He was pretty young, because it was like a disco party in the middle of the day. But like, I remember that being one of the songs that played, and it's just something about the music and the vibe that it was just like a real anthem. Before I even focused, like, obviously I knew what they were saying, but before I even processed really what they were saying, I was just like, this makes me feel like really happy and full of energy. And then, I guess the longer things go on, you tune in, you understand more. And I think the fascinating thing is that it's, you're not only kind of on that journey yourself, but now it feels like it's grown into something that kind of embodies your relationship as well, which is really cool. Is your partner Kelly a fan of it as well? I'm imagining you both singing this in karaoke to each other. Does that ever happen?
I mean, it definitely happened. It's happened more than one occasion in the house. I'm not sure we've done it. Not sure we've done it in public yet. But yeah, she likes it. I think I have to be careful, because I could listen to that song pretty much every day on a little bit of a loop, because it doesn't get boring for me. But I think I'm probably I have to be a little bit careful sometimes to make sure I don't overplay it. So she starts getting pissed off with it. But talking about songs you can listen to over and over again, I'll tell you where I did start for picking the song for this is I've got one of my kind of primary playlists that I have is called Desert Island Discs. That's my Desert Island Discs playlist. And the criteria for that is if I hear a song and want to put it on it, I put it on. If I'm ever listening to the playlist or if I ever hear that song and I skip it or I don't want to hear it or I'm not in the mood for it, it comes off.
Okay.
So it's a set of songs which and there's some on there that have never really changed or anything like that. But that is a list of songs where I can listen to them any time of day, no matter what mood I'm in, and I'm not going to skip it. I'm always like, yeah, I like that. I'm going to listen to that tune.
Man, I love the discipline you've brought to this playlist. Ruthless. Absolutely
there's some
ruthless.
good tunes on there.
Do you ever go to hit the skip button and be like, if I hit this button, man, this song's gone from the playlist. I'm gonna have to listen to it.
So it's not quite as brutal as that. They can come back on. So I am allowed to reintroduce them at some point, but if I skip it, it's going off until it's back on again.
Love that.
But
love
not many.
That. How many songs are on there? Like thousands, or
it's 3.5. It's 3.5 hours long. Doesn't tell me how many songs it's got on it, but
wow. Okay. Curious. Is it a shareable one? Maybe we drop it in. Drop a link afterwards for anyone who wants to check out the ultimate ruthlessly assembled Desert Island Discs collection.
That's one.
I love that. I think I'm quite inspired to go and build one of those. I've got so many different playlists that I put together at different times, but I haven't just got one that I could go to and play at any time, I think. Interesting. I might well do that. Good.
I'll happily drop it in. I'll drop a link in. But the danger there is, like you said at the start, you don't want to just keep listening to the same stuff again and again and again. But I think it's nice to have a fallback of stuff that you think is pretty much timeless.
Yeah, I like it. And so with the song you brought, I mean, we've talked about it. When you hear it, does it take you back to a particular chapter of your life, a particular memory, or is it something that's just becomes so much bigger than that?
It's bigger. I think it reminds me of a couple of things. I think it reminds me of overcoming challenges. So whatever those challenges might be, if it's work, if it's family, if it's relationship, if it's, whatever it is, it reminds me of the fact that one way or another, you find a way through it. You can carry on, you get stronger, and hopefully you learn from all those things as well. And I think it reminds me of that kind of, back to the bit we said at the start about what would my song be. Take it easy. Just remember, don't get too high, don't get too low. You're going to get through things and it's going to get better. That's definitely one part of it. And I think it's, again, just because it's quite it's a song about two people being together. I think it just reminds me of, again, like how happy I am to have a strength of relationship that is there and is a constant. So it's that kind of, without getting too soppy and crying on your podcast, it's definitely that kind of gratitude for having that life partner to go and attack life with, basically.
So I think that's really interesting because, obviously, I think when you write a song, there's something you want to convey, but it doesn't always come out. It's so different how it lands in each individual's ears. But when I looked at this song, it's a song the guy wrote when he got married when he was about 40,
Really?
41 or 2. And he finally found love, like great love, enough to get married after all these years. And it's a song about like really sort of trusting it and actually finding that and finding that perfect partner and celebrating it, which is pretty much kind of what it means to you, with a lot of other stuff rolled in. But it's really interesting that a lot of people could take so many different. I know the lyrics are like fairly straightforward and stuff like that. It feels like the energy that the writer had and why they were writing it is like really comes straight over to you. And you're like, yep, I'll take that, please. I really relate to that, to what you're saying there.
I think like that's another one of the reasons why I was kind of thinking, is this too straightforward a choice? Do I need to think about it more? But it's just no. That's the whole package. Just hits right for me. And there's lots of other songs that, you know, I love the tune, love the lyrics, etc. But this one's just, it probably is part of the reason of it being so straightforward that it's so easy to kind of relate to and attach to. And talking about your writing and stuff like that, like I'd be interested to know, like, would you, when you're looking to create something or write something, are you trying to make it as simple as possible, or do you even think about how simple or how complex it is when you're thinking about making it resonate with people? Because
I think for me, I mean, I'm not blessed with being able to do anything that's not simple. Simple is my way. But I'm honestly not thinking about how it kind of lands with other people. It's just something that I've thought of that I'm going to get out. And I think that was the point I was making, is that he's had this experience and he's chosen to write about it. And it could have come out a million different ways and been interpreted in a million different ways. But it feels like it's just hit. And I think the beauty of it is that it hits lyrically and musically and emotionally as well. Like, you could probably listen to the instrumental and still get a huge amount of what he was feeling from it, but put it all together. And, you know, I think there's so many times where I have music in my head, but then by the time I've put it down and by the time it's finished, it feels completely different. And I was like, man, that was so different in my head before I actually got it out. But it just feels like there's something, that feeling he had really kind of just went directly down onto the record or CD or whatever, and just jumps out at anyone who listens, which I guess is why it's one of those tunes that just never goes away. I mean, this was like 89 and we're now in 2025, and it doesn't sound out of place. I think people would still completely, even though people would be like, oh yeah, it's an old school tune, I think people do still really connect with it and still really kind of feel that emotion that it kind of offers, I think.
Yeah, and it's like we said, it's a pop tune. So there's a reason why it's popular music. It's popular.
Yeah, exactly.
For a reason, isn't it? You know, you just gotta, you gotta let down your barriers and let yourself into it a little bit and go, yeah, okay, it's all right to listen to Britney Spears or whatever it might be, or Taylor Swift nowadays, like you said, which is pretty much the
love them both. If this song was a scene from a film, what would it look like? What do you see in your mind when you listen to like the chorus?
I think I've kind of got, I mean, it's the wrong ending, maybe. And I need to have a look at it, mate. I don't even know whether this song is actually used. But what is the film where the two women drive off in the car at the end and literally just drive off the edge of the...
Thelma and Louise.
So
yeah, great film.
It might not necessarily be the kind of death part, but just that general sort of joy, companionship, and like us against the world type situation, then I think that's a pretty perfect analogy of it. Because I'd not really thought about that before, but as soon as you said it, I was like, yeah, what's that? What is that one? But yeah, I think that's it.
See, I ask because I always have, no matter what I know about the song, I always have a scene in my head that I think I had from a child, and I think it's because they're called Starship. I just have a scene in my head of John Bon Jovi standing on some sort of spacecraft, and there's like fireworks, and they're rising up. I must have just thought Starship. There must be something about spaceships. And it's literally never been an image I've been able to shift. Like the song's playing while this spaceship and John Bon Jovi are like taking off into the sky. This is what I see.
Well, you know you've screwed it for me now, don't you? Because that's all I'm going to be seeing every time I listen to that song now.
Well,
it's just going to
enjoy. Enjoy because it's a beautiful image. Really is.
For some reason, I've now got John Bon Jovi on like the Starship Enterprise or something, just being like shot out into the universe while Starship, nothing's going to stop us now, blares out in the background.
What do you think the song choice reveals about you, if it reveals anything at all?
I mean, it reveals I've got fabulous taste in music.
That was never in question. I wholeheartedly agree.
Thank you. I think I'd say I'm a pretty loyal person. I think that just kind of committing to something, someone, a way of doing things. There's a lot about that in the song. And again, I think I talked about it before, but just not letting things get you down too much, because stick together, you've got each other. That's all you need for, well, I won't say all you need, it might be a little bit simplistic, but that you can find happiness in that. And if that's something you kind of pin yourself to, I think that's definitely the kind of grounding point for me. So I would say it's that kind of loyalty, companionship, and generally enjoying being alive and not getting caught up on too many of the challenges and obstacles that get thrown in front of you.
Yeah, great advice. And I think with this song choice as well, I admire the way you went with your instincts, and I think it is quite you to go with your instincts. And it's brave, you know. Like I think like you said, it may have been like, oh God, I should think about something cool, or I should think about something like this. I should think about whatever. And you were like, no, that's what came up, and that's what I go with. And I think there's like something there as well. Like there's something about this song that probably just kept popping up and being like, you don't want to choose the other ones. this is the one you want. Yeah, no, it's cool. Like I guess, yeah, follow your instincts on the choice, and yeah, it sounds like it's the right one anyway.
Do we throw this back to you at any point? Surely you must have picked your song by now, or is that going to be a separate podcast?
I think my partner Rach is gonna host one. I'm gonna bring my song, but like I think I found this incredibly easy. There was just like one. I think I approached it in like, oh, right, what sort of questions would I ask? And then like as soon as I started asking myself the questions, I was like, yeah, 100%, I know what it's gonna be. And I guess it's like what we're saying, because I've been listening to. There's a lot of songs that I've listened to. I mean, I'm 46 now. There's a lot of songs I've been listening to for a number of years, maybe more than 30 years, some even 40. So a lot's changed in that time, you know. I feel like I've got a bank of songs that I could choose, but yeah, like instinct wise, I was like, no, one just jumps out as a powerful song. Question, and I hope this isn't sacrilege, but if anyone else were to cover this song, who would you want it to be and why?
And why? I feel like it should. There's a bit of a conflict maybe, so I feel like it should be sort of a power ballad duet. So I'm trying to think of kind of where that takes it. But the other thing that came straight into my head is just, I'd love to hear Freddie take it on and do something.
Ooh.
So like just because it's a ballad and it's just got one of the best voices ever. I think,
yeah.
Hearing a Queen version would be very interesting.
Wow.
But who could be the power ballad couple?
So Freddie Mercury is the guy. So you need like a woman to who's going to match Freddie?
Or maybe Tina. What about Freddie and Tina? Freddie Mercury, Tina Turner, power ballading it out.
So yeah, we may have to either invent a time machine or some way to resurrect those that are gone. But if we can make that happen, Freddie and Tina duo.
Yeah, and I think the other two, if we're going down the time machine route, the other two I was kind of just starting to think about then, who were also unfortunately no longer with us, would be Whitney Houston and Meatloaf. I reckon Meatloaf would do a.
Oh my God, you are very good at this game. Where did Meatloaf come from?
Well, he's on the Desert Island Discs playlist, mate.
Which song?
The full Bat Out of Hell version, which I think is about 14 minutes long or something stupid.
Wow.
That is on there.
I like it. Interesting. When we were having our first child, Rach put together a playlist of birth songs. I put together a playlist. The playlist was pretty wild. So really not the sort of tunes I was expecting.
Don't tell me Meatloaf was on the birthing playlist.
Meatloaf was on there, and it was getting really near. It was getting really near to my son being born, and Meatloaf was on, and I was like, I'm gonna have to change this. Quickly changed, put my nice chilled playlist on, and he was born to the sounds of the Dalai Lama's album instead of
much more appropriate to you as a couple, mate. I think the Dalai Lama rather than Meatloaf is a good choice.
Yeah, I mean the moment was intense enough without some Meatloaf blasting out, to be honest.
Without you crashing through the wall on a big Harley Davidson with a big devil robe on the back.
I'll always think of that moment when I hear Meatloaf. So we're starting to come towards the end of our conversation, but before we close, I would love to know, like, looking back on what we shared, the song, the story, the memories, is there anything that stands out for you now, or anything that's kind of feels clearer for you now we've kind of talked it all through?
I don't think anything really feels clearer. I think I'm just clear that this is, I won't say the song, because I think the thing that is clear is I could have probably chosen and been pretty happy with a decent number of songs. If there is, like, talking about that playlist idea, and if there are that many songs that I know I can listen to those songs at any point in time, I feel great about all of them. But this one particularly is just like, it was the first one that you said, first one came to mind, go with your gut. And I like the fact that you pulled that out, because that is actually, I do that. I do try and live by that, and most of the time I'd like to think I make pretty decent decisions based on that. So yeah, let me switch around and say it is clearer. The clear bit is going with your gut and just going, yeah, that's it, I like it, that's going to be the song for me.
Yeah, I like it. Trust those instincts.
Trust the
ears. Simon, thank you for bringing this song and for bringing yourself so openly. It's been a pleasure to share this time with you, and it's time to wrap up now, and I'm going to go and listen to that song.
Thank you for inviting me, mate. It's been a pleasure.
It's our time. It's our time. It's our time.